Hey there, Board Game Brody here with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table like this one, Red Dog Junction, a pick up and deliver action card play and worker placement game by Waterworks Games. You each play as a captain of a rogue spaceship who is navigating through the space to mine different commodities, salvaging lost cargo and making high-risk trades at the notorious Red Dog Junction. You'll be playing it to gain fortune, and deception is always an option as well. The player at the end of the game with the most points will win this game. So players will take turns in a clockwise direction, and on your turn you will take 2 actions total. Your actions will be determined by what cards you have. Everyone starts with 3 cowboys, which helps with cargo, 1 agent that helps with trading, 1 miner that helps with you to mine commodities, and 1 scavenger that helps you to salvage resources found out in space. You'll be able to gain more cards that will also give you additional actions, or gain cards of the same type to be able to do those actions but do it better. You roll a d6 to determine the player order of the game, and the first and second players start with 1 gold. The third and fourth player start with 2 gold each, and if there's a 5th player, they start with 3 gold to start. The 6 d6s are all rolled and played randomly out on the shown spots on Red Dog Junction's tile, and there is a d4 that is placed in the middle with a value of 1. Let me go over the actions, as that will better explain the game as to what you are doing. So again, you have 2 actions on your turn, and first you can move, which you will do a lot of. You each control a spaceship that starts at your space base. To move, you will move it to one location, to another, and to another. And since you start at your space base, you can move it onto the space for 1 move. It could take another move action to then move it from space, which is this open table space, to another location, which could be the gas planet, the ice planet, the ruby planet, the oxygen planet, Red Dog Junction, or the haberdashery. You can end your movement anywhere except at another player's home base. You want to move to different planets to gain those resources provided there. Red Dog Junction to exchange and trade resources, including gold, and the haberdashery to exchange the listed resources for gold. Each gold is a point, so it's maybe arguably the best resource to have in this game, but not always. When docked on a planet, you can mine the resource made from that planet, and you can gain as many resources as you have miners. So the more miner cards that you have, the more resources you'll be able to gain for that action. And these resources are taken from the bank and are limited to what there is. Now, if you move to Red Dog Junction and you dock there, you can perform trades using the cargo aboard your ship. There are 6 docking stations, and only 1 ship can be docked at each location at a time. And the location will determine the trades that you can make. The dice adjacent to the docking station determine your eligible trades. So this is how it works. If you decide to dock at this station here, you have a white 1 and a red 4. And in the middle, which is used for all trading stations, there is a gold 1. So now you can trade 4 red resources for 1 white, or 1 white for 4 red, or 4 red for 1 gold, or 1 white for 1 gold, or lastly, 1 gold for 4 red, or 1 gold for 1 white. So there are 3 possible resources to trade with, possible trades, and you can trade either way. But you can only do as many trades as you have agent cards. So the more agents you have, the more trades that you can do when you perform this action. Alternatively, you can use an agent to increase or decrease any adjacent die by 1, giving you a better possible trade. So if you have multiple agents, you can increase or decrease a die and do a number of trades, just doing this the number of times as you have agent cards. Also, when docked onto Red Dog Junction, you can use a move action to move directly to another docking space without needing to go back out into space and then to redock again. When you are out in space, you can salvage using your scavenger cards. You'll be able to take 1 cube that's floating out in space per scavenger card that you have. This is filled with 30 scrap, the black cubes at the beginning of the game, but also whenever a player is holding too many resources, which is determined by their cowboy card. So to begin, each player can hold 6 total resources, but if a player gains more than they have, then they need to jettison out the extras down to their capacity on how many cowboy cards they have. So after trading, sometimes you have extra resources that get placed into space for others to scavenge. That's where you come in. Pick those up. Now we have gone over all of your starting cards, so you need to know, what they do. But a big part of the game is also purchasing additional cards to make the actions that we have talked about better, but also to gain new actions as well. There are 6 cards available to purchase on the display at a time, and you can purchase one additional card by paying the resources shown on the top left of that card. Resources need to come from your base to pay for them for the new card. And so throughout the game, you will need to move to your and dock onto your own space station to load and unload resources, especially gold, so that you can hold them there, as those are, worth 1 point each at the end of the game. When unloading or reloading, this costs 1 action, and you can move any amount of resources between your ship and your space base when doing so. Now there are several cards you now have access to and that we haven't talked about, so let's check these out. There are boost cards that are one-time actions that you can keep until you want to use its action, and once you play them, they are discarded. But they can provide very powerful moves when used in the right way. Some other cards you might find are rustlers. These cards will let you undock any ship from its location and place them into space. For example, if you have 2 rustlers, you can undock 2 ships from their current location, which can be your ship and then another ship. Only one ship can be in a location at a time besides space. So this can help you to go where you want to go when someone else is in your way. Outlaws will give you access to the swap action. While you are in space and others are in space, you can swap 2 resources from your ship with 2 from another ship. And if you have more outlaws, you can swap out 2 more for each card that you have. This is a good way to disrupt other players, but also for you to get what you want. Rascals might be one of the more powerful cards in the game, but they cost 1 of each resource, so it's kind of expensive and hard to do. But at the beginning of your turn, you can declare what crew type that they are for this round. So they're almost like a wild that will make your future turns more powerful depending on the actions you're taking for that turn. The last place we haven't really talked about is docking at the haberdashery to gain gold. Here is where you gain gold. There are 2 piles of tiles. One gets you 6 gold for the resources it is asking for, and the other gives you 8 gold. Just make sure that you have room for that 8 gold as well. And after gaining all of that gold, you most likely want to fly back to your space base to hold it. But also watch out for any other players that have outlaws, as they might swap some of their resources and take some of your precious gold and give you some scrap. And now I know I said this is the last place, but there are 5 officer cards that I didn't mention shuffled into the deck that can be purchased for a more hefty price, but it might be worth it. The quartermaster will let you spend an action to unload up to 4 resources from your ship to your base when you are in space. The sheriff wants his cut, and whenever another player lands on Red Dog Junction or the haberdashery, they must pay you 1 resource of your choice from their ship. This resource is placed inside of your ship when gained. The Pathfinder will let you take an action to move to any location except another player's base. The Mayor will let you use an action so that while you're docked at Red Dog Junction, you can swap the positions of any 2 dice and then trade. And the Assessor will let you use an action to convert cargo aboard your ship using its listed rates, which is 1 non-gold for another non-gold resource, or 2 non-gold resources into 1 gold resource, or 3 scrap to make that into 1 gold. Again, you will perform 2 actions per turn, and once the last gold piece is placed into a player's storage area or the deck of cards runs out, then the game ends immediately. Points are scored again for 1 point per gold, points from your cards, and 1 point for each deal tile that you got at the haberdashery. The player then with the most points wins the game. And well, that's Red Dog Junction, a deck builder, pick up and deliver game that is, a nice, enjoyable game where you can be clever in how you do your 2 actions so that you can get the resources that you need. You will want to get resources, exchange them, at a good rate at Red Dog Junction, maybe swap some from another player's ship, and ultimately use those resources to purchase better cards or to do, better actions or more powerful actions, and also to gain gold to have the most points at the end of the game. Strategy is which cards you purchase and when, as well as which actions you take and when. Although this can change how well you can do in the game. Younger ones are still able to grasp the rules and be able to play the game, maybe sometimes through an unconventional method, but then, they might surprise you when they are, have enough random resources saved up to get an officer card that will surely give them strong actions to do well in the game. Really, upgrading cards is a must, but you need to have enough resources to pay for those cards. But also you need to balance how many cards versus using those resources to go to the haberdashery to gain gold and stashing those in your home base for points as well. The actions are quick. You aren't waiting forever between your turns. There are some player interaction moves that can feel like a player is being, attacked more than others. So you will need to understand that they are, taking your gold or moving your ship from that docked space for a reason. And you can try to plan your moves so that, someone doesn't target you or mess you up with your plans as well. But then you can do that to them. The components are great. I like the art and the style of the game. It can be placed pretty much anywhere to play the game. So, a small table, a large table, it doesn't matter because the locations that are tiles can be placed wherever. There will be opportunities to shine and do something big in this game, while other turns you will be, setting up those moves to be able to get a big move. There seems to be some clever moves that I think makes the game fun. I think 2 moves during your turn, makes timing and planning a little more important for the game. You need to protect yourself, but also feel like you did enough of something on your turn worthwhile, So if I just, got gold, I'm probably going to stay docked, and my next turn I will move to space, then move to my space station, and this will keep my gold safe. But another player might have rustlers that can undock me while I'm, waiting there, maybe swap out some of my, gold for whatever they're going to give me. So I like that there are some of these things to think about while playing in the game. And then also you wrestle with, if I should use my resources for cards or for gold, or maybe manipulate the trading to do some big moves there as well. There's a lot of thinking and things to do in the game. Again, this is Brody with Let's Table It, where we get games to the table like this one. Where is it? Red Dog Junction. It's a deck builder, pick up and deliver space game by Waterworks Games. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We are working hard to bring to you videos like this one so if these games here are ones that you want to get to your own table.